What's up, Boost Junkies? Eddie Rocksteady with Comp Turbo Technology here. We're talking turbos, specifically oilless turbochargers. Today, we're focusing on the Comp Turbo oilless turbochargers. Check this out. As I said earlier in the video, we're talking oilless turbochargers. That's right, you heard correctly, oilless turbochargers. It's definitely a thing. In fact, it's a specialty of Comp Turbo Technology. Traditionally, oil is needed to lubricate your center cartridge, whether it be a journal bearing system where you need oil pressure to separate the bushings and the bearings to be able to get them to spin freely, or in a ball bearing combination to keep them lubricated and keep them cool to keep them as efficient as possible. However, there are some cons to running oil. There's, a lot of inconveniences associated with it. Sometimes you're limited to how and where you can mount your turbocharger. There's the smoking aspect, the leaking aspect, and there's a lot of particulates that go through your oil and through the rotating assembly of the turbocharger as well. That includes piston ring material, bearing material, so on and so forth. All of these particulates will inevitably wear down your rotating assembly of your turbocharger, essentially turning into a grinding compound and removing life from your turbocharger. This can result in leaking, fatigue of the turbocharger, where you have a loss of power, and ultimately doing your turbocharger. It will inevitably need a rebuild or to simply be replaced depending on how extensive the damage is. At Comp Turbo, we set out to have a solution for those specific problems. Thus, the oilless turbocharger was born. The oilless turbocharger can be identified by the center cartridge. All of our ball bearing turbochargers do feature a billet aluminum center cartridge, which houses our proprietary triple ball bearing combination. That triple ball bearing combination is also offered in our oilless configuration, and they can be identified by the lack of an oil feed and return. Instead, they have a Zerk fitting on the top of the cartridge, and that's used for re-greasing your turbocharger. That's because our oilless turbochargers are actually grease lubricated. Now, the grease is proprietary, but it's one that's fluid enough to allow for the same mechanical efficiency as a conventional oil lubricated turbocharger, but still, of course, strong enough to be able to withstand the conditions under which it lives in. Now, there is no need to remove or disassemble the turbocharger for servicing. The grease will inevitably evaporate. Now, it is a special grease that will not turn into a nasty gunk that will eventually foul your cartridge. Instead, it evaporates cleanly, and all you simply need to do is to top off the turbocharger by connecting your favorite grease gun or the one that we provide and topping off that cartridge. Now, these cartridges will take anywhere from 7 to 8 pumps of grease to fill. So depending on your use and application, we have some different procedures when it comes to servicing them. When you purchase your turbocharger, we'll of course tell you what works best for your combination, but ultimately 7 to 8 pumps of grease will fill the cartridge. Now, the oilless turbocharger can also be identified by the 2 ports on this side, and these are for water. These are 3/8 MPTs, and you can use a 3/8 to a -6 or a 3/8 barb fitting to be able to get water in and out of them. It doesn't have to be a high pressure system as long as you can get water in and out of the cartridge to help maintain a consistent temperature. That'll expand the life of your grease. Now, you may be asking, why on earth would I need an oilless turbocharger? And if that's the case, chances are you might not have encountered the need for one. However, it does fill a lot of niche roles. There's a lot of benefits to running an oilless turbocharger. For one, you no longer need to abide by the basic laws of physics, because traditionally oil-fed turbochargers are, for the most part, bound by gravity. And that's because whilst you can feed a pressurized stream of oil into your turbocharger, that oil has to be removed from the turbocharger by way of gravity. So that does inherently propose a specific way of mounting your turbocharger, oftentimes not only how, but where. And an oilless turbocharger eliminates that particular issue. Not only that, but like I mentioned earlier, oftentimes your oil carries particulates that will inherently eat away at your internals. When you have a grease lubricated combination, that is no longer a factor, and as long as you keep up with maintenance, the lifespan of the turbocharger is indefinite. Keep up with maintenance and you have a happy turbocharger. Some of you racers will know that, catastrophic failure is sometimes inevitable. Sooner or later, when you're pushing things to the limit, our engines let go. Oftentimes when our engines let go, we have a lot of debris in a lot of places, and especially in any location where that oil can find its way into, and it's going to carry a lot of those broken pieces of your engine. Oftentimes they will find themselves into your turbocharger and resulting in failure. In an oilless turbocharger, that is no longer an issue either, because if your engine goes, you don't have to worry about those particulates finding their way into the engine. That is also a benefit of the turbocharger. Having the ability to mount it completely vertically or horizontally, or even in a completely different location outside of your engine bay, is most definitely an advantage as well for those of you with limited space. The possibilities are endless. Not only that, but we do also offer an air-cooled model for external applications. We'll get into that in a different video. So in summary, the oilless turbocharger is grease lubricated. Now the turbocharger does ship to you pre-greased. It is ready for use outside of the box. And the service life does depend on the application and the use case. However, for the most part, there is a general rule of thumb. For most street applications, you're going to want to grease it up every 3,000 miles. And as long as you have access to the Zerk fitting, there is, again, no need to remove it or disassemble it for servicing. All you do is hook up your grease gun and give it 7 to 8 pumps of grease. Now, if you have any further questions, you're welcome to reach out. We'll happily answer those for you. You can even ask for me by name. My name is Eddie Rocksteady. Check out our Oilless line of turbochargers online or give us a call for more information. They are available in any size and combination that we offer.